Muscles that don't quit, faces that never age, bodies that break every limit. Sounds perfect, right? But what if I told you some of Hollywood's biggest names paid a price you can't imagine? They wanted to look unstoppable, feel indestructible, and stay on top forever. So they turned to a shortcut that seemed magical. Steroids. At first, it worked like a charm. But then, things started going wrong. Really wrong. Mood swings, health disasters, bodies that turned against them. Today, we're counting down 15 celebrities who thought they could control the game, but the game ended up controlling them. Stick around, because number 7 will shock you. Let's dive in. Number 15, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. The Rock. The guy who makes muscles look easy. From smashing skulls in WWE rings to saving the world in billion-dollar movies, Dwayne Johnson became a walking action figure. But here's the thing, action figures aren't real. And neither is staying that massive forever. Look at him now, then look at him 20 years ago. Something doesn't add up. Most guys lose muscle as they age. The Rock, he just keeps growing. Bigger arms, thicker chest, veins popping like garden hoses. At 50 plus, he looks like he could bench press a truck. So what's the secret? Hard work? Sure. Chicken and rice? Maybe. But fans aren't buying it anymore. They started asking questions. Loudly. The Rock did admit something once. He said, yeah, he tried steroids early in his career, but just for a little bit, then stopped. End of story. Except, the story kept getting bigger. Literally every new movie, every shirtless Instagram post, the debate fires up again. People freeze frame his physiques from different years. They compare, they calculate, and they say, no way, that's natural. But here's what makes it complicated. Dwayne didn't just build a body, he built a brand. The 4 a.m. workouts, the Iron Paradise, the motivational speeches. Millions of people wake up inspired by him. He can't just shrink now. He can't look normal. The world won't let him. So whether it's all genetics and grind or something extra in the mix, one thing's clear. The Rock is trapped in his own legend. He has to stay superhuman forever. And that kind of pressure, it changes you. Number 14, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Before Instagram influencers, before fitness gurus, there was one name that made the whole world want to lift weights: Arnold Schwarzenegger. The Austrian oak. The guy who made muscles famous. He didn't just want to be strong. He wanted to be remembered forever. And guess what? It worked. His biceps became more iconic than most people's entire careers. But let's talk about the elephant in the gym. Arnold didn't build that body on chicken breast alone. He's admitted it himself. Steroids. Yep, the legend confessed. Back in his bodybuilding days, he used them. A lot of them. Here's his excuse. Everyone was doing it. It was normal back then. And honestly, he's not wrong. The 1970s bodybuilding scene was basically a chemistry experiment with dumbbells. Steroids were everywhere, legal even. But here's the twist. Arnold doesn't regret it. Not really. He says it was under medical supervision. He calls it a tool of the trade, like using a hammer to build a house. Except the house is your body, and the hammer might give you a heart attack. Fast forward to today. Arnold's had multiple heart surgeries. His chest has been cracked open more than once. Coincidence? Maybe, but probably not. Still, he's out here warning kids not to follow his path, telling them steroids aren't worth it, which is ironic. Like a pirate telling you not to steal treasure after he's already buried his. Arnold made history, but he also made sacrifices. Big ones. The question is, was the throne worth the damage? Number 13, Hulk Hogan. What you gonna do when Hulkamania runs wild on you? That's what Hulk Hogan screamed into every microphone he touched. And for years, kids believed he was a real-life superhero. The muscles, the mustache, the American flag, he was unstoppable. But superheroes don't exist. And Hulk Hogan, he wasn't born in a lab. He was built in one. Back in the 80s and 90s, wrestling was a freak show. Bigger was better. Louder was king. And if you wanted to stay on top, you had to look like a cartoon character brought to life. Hogan fit the role perfectly. Maybe too perfectly. For years, he swore up and down he was natural. Just prayers and vitamins, brother? That's what he told millions of kids. But then the law came knocking early 90s. Federal investigation, courtroom, under oath. Hogan had no choice. He admitted it. Steroids, lots of them. Supplied by wrestling doctors like candy from a vending machine, fans felt betrayed. The guy who told them to eat healthy and train hard was juicing the whole time. The hero was a fake. And his body? It started showing the receipts: multiple surgeries, blown out knees, a back held together by screws. His face aged like he'd lived 2 lifetimes in one. But here's the wild part: Hogan survived. He came back, made money, stayed famous. Because in wrestling, the show never stops. Even if the man behind the character is falling apart, Hulk Hogan taught us one thing. You can fool the crowd, but you can't fool your own body forever. Number 12, Sylvester Stallone. Rocky, Rambo. 2 names that made Sylvester Stallone a legend. The underdog who punched his way to the top, the soldier who never quit. But here's the problem with legends. They're not allowed to get old. Stallone wrote his own ticket to fame. Literally. He wrote Rocky when he was broke, turned down big money to star in it himself, and became a hero overnight. But that hero hero had to stay frozen in time, forever ripped, forever ready, forever young. Except Stallone wasn't young anymore. He was pushing 60, still expected to take off his shirt and look like an action figure. So what did he do? He got help, the chemical kind. He's admitted it, human growth hormone, testosterone injections. He called them necessary to keep up with Hollywood's impossible standards, but the world didn't see it that way. In 2007, he got caught. Australian customs found vials of hormones in his luggage. Fined, embarrassed, headlines everywhere. The guy who inspired millions to go the distance was cutting corners, and his body started showing it. His face puffed up, his jaw looked swollen, his muscles stayed, but something about him just looked off, like a wax figure of himself. Stallone defended it, said Hollywood forces you to choose, look the part or lose the part. And maybe he's right, but that doesn't make it any less sad. He's still making movies, still throwing punches on screen. But every time you see him now, you wonder, how much of that is really him? And how much is just chemistry holding up a memory? Number 11, Charlie Sheen. Charlie Sheen had it all. Famous dad, hit shows, money pouring in, women everywhere. He was living the dream most people only see in movies, but Charlie didn't just live the dream. He tried to swallow it whole, and it nearly killed him. For years, he was Hollywood's favorite wild child, the guy who partied too hard but somehow showed up on set the next day. America loved him for it. 2.5 Men made him the highest paid actor on TV. Life was good, too good. But behind the scenes, Charlie wasn't just drinking and partying, he was experimenting. Steroids were part of the mix along with everything else you can imagine. He wanted to feel unstoppable, untouchable, immortal. At first it worked. He looked great, felt great, had energy for days. But then the side effects crept in. Mood swings, explosive anger, paranoia, the kind of rage that doesn't just yell, it destroys. Remember his meltdown? Tiger blood? Winning? That wasn't just Charlie being quirky. That was a man whose brain chemistry had gone haywire. Steroids don't just build muscle, they mess with your head. And Charlie's head was already a war zone. His body started breaking down. Heart problems, weight loss. His face looked gaunt, hollow, like something was eating him from the inside. Hollywood dropped him. The paychecks stopped. The fame faded. And what was left? A guy who gambled everything on feeling superhuman and lost. Charlie Sheen didn't just abuse steroids. He abused himself, and the cost? Everything. Number 10, Liver King. Shirtless, screaming, eating raw liver on camera. That was Liver King, and for a while the internet ate it up. He looked like a caveman who discovered protein powder. Massive shoulders, veins like tree roots, abs you could grate cheese on. And his message? Simple. Eat like your ancestors. Train like a beast. Be primal. Millions followed him, bought his supplements, copied his workouts, believed every word because he swore it was all natural. No drugs, no shortcuts, just meat, sweat, and ancestral living. But then someone did some digging, and they found receipts. Literal receipts. Emails leaked showing Liver King was spending over $10,000 a month on steroids, growth hormone, testosterone. The whole pharmacy. He had a coach, a cycle plan, everything mapped out like a science project. The internet exploded. People felt betrayed. This guy built his entire brand on being natural, and it was all a lie when he finally confessed. He didn't even seem sorry. He said he did it to inspire people, to show them what's possible. But here's the thing. You can't inspire people with a fake story. His muscles didn't come from eating liver. They came from injections. His energy didn't come from cold plunges. It came from hormones. Liver King became the perfect example of modern fitness fraud. Sell the dream, hide the drugs, cash the checks. He's still around, still posting, but nobody believes him anymore. Because once the illusion cracks, it stays cracked. Number 9, Carrot Top. Remember the skinny red-headed comedian with the box of crazy props? Yeah, that guy. Carrot Top. He was goofy, harmless. The kind of comic your parents thought was cute. Then one day he showed up looking like he could bench press a Honda. Nobody saw it coming. One year he's cracking jokes with a rubber chicken. The next he's got arms like a Greek statue and veins you could use as a roadmap. People were confused, then concerned, then just creeped out. His face changed too. Jaw wider, skin tighter. Features that looked like they'd been inflated with a bicycle pump. This wasn't just hitting the gym. This was something else. Experts started talking. Bodybuilders pointed out the signs. Water retention, unnatural muscle fullness. The kind of gains you don't get from chicken and broccoli. But Carrot Top, he denied everything. It's just the lighting. I've been working out. People are jealous. Except nobody was jealous. They were just shocked. The transformation was so extreme, it became the joke. Late-night hosts roasted him. Memes spread. He went from making people laugh to making people stare. And here's the sad part. He's still performing in Vegas, still trying to be funny, but now the crowd's distracted, wondering what happened to the guy they used to know. Carrot Top wanted to look strong. Instead, he became a cautionary tale, proof that sometimes trying too hard to change makes you unrecognizable. Number 8, Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan, podcast king, UFC commentator, the guy who tells millions of people to be better, work harder, stay disciplined, question everything. But here's the twist. Joe doesn't follow his own advice, at least not fully. He's open about it. Testosterone replacement therapy, human growth hormone. He talks about it on his show like he's discussing vitamin C, calls it optimization, says it's just helping his body work the way it's supposed to. But let's be real, it's steroids, dressed up in doctor's language. And look, Joe's not hiding it. That's what makes this interesting. He's not sneaking around or lying. He's telling you straight up, yeah, I'm on hormones, and I feel great. The problem? He's also the guy who preaches about hard work and natural living, elk meat, saunas, ice baths, all that primal stuff. But then he's also injecting hormones to stay jacked at 57. So which is it? Are we going natural or not? His fans don't seem to care. They love him anyway. But the message gets messy. Because when someone with Joe's influence says, everyone should do this, suddenly it's not therapy anymore, it's a trend. Young guys start thinking, if Joe needs it, maybe I do too. And that's dangerous because testosterone replacement isn't candy. It messes with your body long term. Once you start, stopping isn't easy. Joe's body looks great, no question. But at what cost? And for how long? That's the part nobody talks about. He's not a villain. He's just proof that even the guys preaching natural aren't always walking the walk. Number 7, Britney Spears. Britney Spears, the princess of pop, the girl everyone wanted to be. Perfect voice, perfect smile, perfect body. But perfect in Hollywood isn't a compliment. It's a demand. From the moment she hit the stage, people watched her body like hawks. Too thin? The tabloids attacked. Too curvy? They attacked harder. She couldn't win. So she did what anyone under that much pressure would do. She tried to control it, and that's where things get dark. Over the years, people noticed something off. Her body changed in weird ways. One month, she'd look super lean and muscular. The next, puffy and swollen. Her face looked different. Her energy seemed erratic. Trainers and insiders started whispering. Performance enhancers, hormone treatments, stuff designed to speed up results, keep her stage ready, keep her sellable. Was it steroids? Maybe, maybe not. But the signs were there. The rapid muscle gain, the mood swings, the physical crashes. Here's the thing though. Even if Britney did use something, can you really blame her? She was a prisoner, literally. A conservatorship controlled her money, her career, her life. If she felt like she needed chemicals just to survive the machine, that's not her failure. That's the industry's. She wasn't chasing vanity. She was chasing freedom, or at least the illusion of it. And the saddest part, while the world watched her break down, they kept demanding more. More performances, more perfection, more Britney. If drugs were involved, they weren't the villain. Hollywood was. Britney didn't let steroids take over. She let fame take over, and it nearly destroyed her. Number 6, Mark Wahlberg. Mark Wahlberg, the guy who went from rapper to Calvin Klein model to action star, the ultimate comeback story. Boston tough guy turned Hollywood hero. But there's a side to Mark's story that doesn't fit the motivational speech. Let's talk about Pain and Gain. Remember that movie? Mark showed up looking like a science experiment. Arms like bowling balls. Veins everywhere, shredded beyond belief. He said it was all hard work. Waking up at 3 a.m., eating 7 meals a day, training like a machine. And sure, Mark works hard, nobody's denying that. But here's the thing. Transformations like that don't just happen from chicken and push-ups. Not that fast. Not at his age, trainers started talking, quietly. They said the gains were suspicious. The timeline didn't make sense. You can't add that much muscle in a few months. Naturally, it's biology, not motivation. Mark never admitted to anything, but he didn't really deny it either. He just kept posting his 4 a.m. workout selfies and talking about discipline. But look at him now. His face looks different, thicker, harder. His jaw's wider, his skin's tighter. Those are classic signs of long-term hormone use. And it's not just one movie. Every role, he shows up looking superhuman, like he's aging backwards. That's not genetics, that's chemistry. The sad part? Mark doesn't need to do this. He's already successful, already rich, already famous. But Hollywood makes you think you're nothing if you don't look perfect. So he keeps chasing it, the perfect body, the ageless face. And every year it gets harder to tell where Mark ends and the enhancements begin. Number 5, Mickey Rourke. Mickey Rourke used to be beautiful, not in a pretty boy way, in a dangerous, magnetic, I can't look away kind of way. He didn't need muscles. He had presence. But Hollywood doesn't care about presence when you hit 50. It wants abs. And Mickey didn't have those anymore. So he tried to fix it. And in doing so, he destroyed himself. Look at photos of Mickey from the 80s. Then look at him now. It's hard to believe it's the same person. His face looks melted, swollen, like it's been rebuilt with spare parts. He blames boxing, says his face got smashed in the ring, needed surgery. And yeah, that's part of it, but it's not the whole story. The real damage? Steroids, hormones. Enhancements meant to make him look younger, stronger, tougher. Instead, they made him unrecognizable. His skin thickened, his features bloated, his jaw grew heavy. Classic signs of long-term growth, hormone abuse. The kind of thing that doesn't just change your body, it changes your face and his mood. Friends say he became a different person. Angry, paranoid, unpredictable. That's what happens when you mess with your hormones for years. Mickey made a comeback with The Wrestler, and he was brilliant in it. But even that role felt painful to watch, because you could see the damage. The broken man playing a broken character. He jokes about his appearance now, laughs it off, but you can tell it haunts him. Mickey Rourke didn't just lose his looks. He lost himself, all because he thought chemicals could turn back the clock. They couldn't. They just made him a stranger in his own skin. Number 4. Zac Efron. Zac Efron, High School Musical's golden boy. The guy every teenage girl had a poster of. Clean cut, wholesome, safe. Then Baywatch happened, and suddenly Zac looked like he'd been carved out of marble by a bodybuilder with anger issues. Abs that looked photoshopped. Veins popping like they were trying to escape skin so thin you could see every muscle fiber. It was insane. He said it was all natural, just hard work and discipline. But come on, that kind of transformation doesn't happen in a few months without help, not naturally. Trainers raised eyebrows. Bodybuilders called it out. The timeline was impossible. And Zac, he looked miserable. Later, he admitted the truth. Not about steroids, but about the cost. He said getting that body nearly destroyed him. Depression, insomnia, anxiety. He was dehydrated to the point of danger just to make his muscles pop on camera. And for what? A mediocre movie that nobody remembers. But here's where it gets weirder. After Baywatch, people noticed his face changing, jaw looking swollen, features looking off. He said it was from a jaw injury. Slipped on a puddle, hit his face, maybe. Or maybe it was side effects from growth hormone, because that's exactly what GH does. It makes your jaw grow, your features thicken. Zac went into hiding for a while, stopped doing interviews, stepped away from the spotlight, and when he came back, he looked different, softer, tired, like someone who'd been through a war. He didn't let steroids take over his body. He let Hollywood's impossible standards take over his mind, and it almost killed him. Number 3, Chris Hemsworth. Chris Hemsworth, Thor, the god of thunder, the guy who made millions of people want to hit the gym. But let's be honest, nobody's hitting the gym and coming out looking like that. When Chris first showed up as Thor, jaws dropped. He went from lean Aussie surfer to walking action figure, arms like tree trunks, chest like armor, and that was just the beginning. Every movie, he got bigger, more shredded, more veiny. It was like watching someone upgrade their character in a video game, except this was real life. Fans called it dedication, Chris called it hard work and chicken. But fitness experts, they weren't buying it. The signs were all there. Paper-thin skin, veins that looked like they were drawn on with a marker muscle fullness that doesn't happen naturally. And the kicker, he stayed that big year-round, not just for movies, all the time. That's not normal. Even pro bodybuilders can't maintain that without help. Chris never admitted to anything, and honestly, he probably never will, because admitting it would shatter the illusion, and Marvel needs that illusion. But here's what's sad. Chris is trapped. He has to look like Thor forever, even when he's not playing Thor, because that's what people expect. That's his brand now. And recently, he's started to crack, talking about how exhausting it is, how he's worried about his health, how he wants to slow down. But can he? Or is he stuck being a god until his body gives out? Chris Hemsworth didn't just build a physique. He built a prison, and the bars are made of muscle. Number 2, Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel, the king of fast cars and family speeches. The guy who turned One Last Ride into a 20-year franchise. But let's talk about what nobody wants to say out loud. Vin's body doesn't make sense anymore. In the first Fast and Furious, he looked like a regular strong guy. Thick, solid, real. But as the movies kept coming, something changed. He got bigger, way bigger, and somehow leaner at the same time while getting older. That's not how aging works. Look at recent photos. His arms are massive. His veins look like garden hoses. But his face, puffy, swollen. That weird, bloated look that screams one thing: hormones. Trainers started whispering. Co-stars dropped hints. The internet did what it does best, pointed out the obvious. But Vin, he stays quiet, laughs it off. Posts gym videos, talks about family and loyalty, never addresses the elephant in the room. And maybe he doesn't have to, because admitting it would ruin the fantasy. And Vin is the fantasy. The guy who never gets old, never slows down, never stops being the hero. But the cracks are showing. Watch him in recent films. His movements are slower, stiffer. He looks uncomfortable in his own skin, like the muscle is weighing him down instead of making him stronger. And that's the tragedy. Vin built his entire career on being real, the street guy who made it big. But somewhere along the way, real became fake, and fake became exhausting. He's not the villain here. He's a prisoner, trapped in a body he can't afford to lose. Because without the muscles, what's left? Just a guy who got old, and Hollywood doesn't pay for that. Number 1, John Cena. John Cena, the face of WWE for over a decade. The guy who told kids to never give up. The hero who always wore bright colors and played by the rules. But there's one rule he might not have followed, and it's the biggest one. Let's rewind. When Cena started wrestling, he was big, but not that big. Then suddenly, in just a few years, he exploded. Arms like cannonballs, chest like a tank, Traps that look like mountains. People noticed and they started asking questions. How does someone gain that much muscle that fast? And how do they keep it? Year after year, show after show, without ever losing size, without ever looking soft. The answer most people landed on? Steroids. Cena denied it, over and over. He even offered to take drug tests, said he'd prove everyone wrong. But here's the thing, WWE's drug testing, it's a joke. Loopholes everywhere. And conveniently, their biggest stars rarely get caught. Look at the signs. Cena's body showed all of them. Insane vascularity, paper-thin skin, muscle fullness that doesn't fade, and let's not forget the classic side effect. Acne. Cena's back and shoulders, covered in it during his peak years. But the worst part? The hypocrisy. He built his brand on being a role model, telling kids to work hard and stay clean. Meanwhile, the very body he used to inspire them, possibly built on shortcuts. Now Cena's moved to Hollywood playing superheroes and tough guys. And guess what? He's still jacked, still massive, still defying the aging process. At some point, you have to ask, is this dedication or is this deception? John Cena wanted to be the perfect hero, but perfect doesn't exist. And chasing it might have cost him the one thing heroes need most, the truth. So next time you see a shirtless hero on screen, looking impossibly perfect, ask yourself, what did it really take to look like that? And more importantly, was it worth it? Thanks for watching. Hit that like button if this opened your eyes. And subscribe, because we've got more shocking stories coming your way. See you in the next one.